Today's episode focuses on love acts, or another way of saying this is love in action. Welcome to the Speaking from the Heart series. This is where we dive into meaningful discussions about embodying the values taught from a Christian gospel or a universal value perspective. Hi, I'm Richard Fontanie, and I'm glad you are joining us today. For those who are here for the first time, a hearty welcome. And for those returning, welcome back. Now let's get right into it. Love isn't just a feeling. It's a choice and an action. It's a verb. It's what we do to reflect our values and character. And yes, we can do this in business, at work, and in our everyday lives. Now, by showing love through our actions, we transform relationships, and foster trust, and create environments where everyone thrives. Now, everyone can demonstrate acts of love through their behaviors. Love in action isn't reserved for the grand gestures. It really shows up in everyday moments. In a business meeting, for example, it's when we pause to truly listen to a colleague's ideas without interrupting. At work, it's going the extra mile to help a struggling teammate without expecting anything in return. And in our personal lives, love in action might mean supporting a friend in navigating through a tough time, or simply showing up fully present in our interactions with others. Now, these actions build bridges, create mutual respect, and remind us of our shared humanity. One of the most powerful teachings about love in action comes from the gospel parable about the Good Samaritan. In Luke chapter 10, we learn about a man who is robbed and left for dead on the side of the road. Now, while others pass by, a Samaritan, someone from a group often looked down upon during Jesus' time. Now, he stops to care for the man's wounds, takes him to a place of healing, and leaves money for his recovery. This story teaches us that love in action transcends boundaries, and it expressed through compassion and service to others. And from my perspective, we need to heed this lesson today, especially when we consider the challenges we face in caring for those less fortunate than ourselves, including our drug addicts, immigrants, and all those living on the fringe of society. Now, let's bring this topic home with two stories about love in action. One from a business perspective and the other from a personal perspective. Now, my business example goes like this. I know an executive leader in a government setting who became aware of an employee's personal challenges. She was consistently late, 15 minutes to 30 minutes late, and others began to grumble. So rather than reprimanding her, he decided to get to the root of the problem. Now, her problem was that she had to take her child to daycare, but it didn't open until 8:30 in the morning, and the office opened at 8. And together they decided a flexible work schedule that allowed her to attend to her childcare needs. Now, not only did her morale improve, but so did her productivity. As well, it put an end to the grumbling among her colleagues. Now, the love showed through this understanding and support resulted in long-term loyalty and a more cohesive team environment. Now, here's a story about someone who made a conscious effort to practice kindness daily. Every morning, she would write down one way she planned to show acts of love, whether it was offering encouragement to someone feeling down or taking time to check on an elderly neighbor. Now, this practice transformed her mindset, expanded her sense of fulfillment, and satisfied her desire to serve in her community. But how do we put love in action in a way that makes sense to us? Well, here's 3 things we can do. First, we can try to listen more than we speak in our next meeting or conversation. Genuine listening is a powerful way to show love. Secondly, we can choose one act of kindness this week so that we can complete each day with kindness. It doesn't have to be a big thing. A small thing will do. And thirdly, we could take a moment to thank someone who has shown us love and acknowledge the positive impact that person has had on us. Now, thank you for tuning in on this episode of Speaking from the Heart. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, share it with someone you know, and give it a thumbs up. And I thank you for doing so. Now, join us next week when we explore empathy, the journey to emotional healing. Until then, keep speaking from your heart and sending out your acts of love. I'm Richard Fontanie, signing off for now. See you next Monday, if not before.